Welcome back, guys. Today I'll be doing a review of the Future Cable Set from a company called AOHI. I've had a couple of their accessories on the channel before, but this one is rather cool because this is from their Future lineup. This is the Future Cable Set that comes in USB-C to USB-C, as well as USB-C to Lightning. But it's not just two cables. You get a carrying pouch, and then you also get extensions that allow you to change the length of the cable depending on what you're going to be using it for. So let's get right into the review and see what it's all about and if it's worth the $99 asking point. Let's start off with the two starter pieces of this cable set. So like I mentioned earlier, you have a USB-C to USB-C, and then you also have a USB-C to Lightning. So with both of these cables, the build quality is extremely good. It's put into this nice little yellow jacket that really shows off the AOHI branding. But what I really like about it is the sturdiness of the connectors themselves. So you have this nice metal head for both sides of each cable, and you can really tell that the quality is there. They do have really nice ridges on the side for the part where it extends, so that you can put the locking nut that's included on the extension cables to make sure these don't disconnect whenever using them in extension mode. So when using these by themselves, they really do serve a purpose as well, because they have this short length in order for you to use it if you're not really needing a longer cable. Let's say you want to use a little power bank and you want to place it on your desk. You can plug in one end to your phone, the other end to the power bank, and you have it all with a short cable without having a tangled mess. Or let's say the power bank is small enough to fit in your pocket with the phone, then you can plug in one end to the phone and one into the power bank, and you're good to go. There's a lot of use cases, even transferring data from a computer to a phone, which the USB port is nearby. You wouldn't really need a longer cable. So this is really where these come into play for this various sizes. But I really do like having cables this short because sometimes, like I mentioned, it really does help out in certain situations. But you're not really limited to having just these two cables because you do have the other extensions in the box. And you have a nice carrying pouch, which I'll get to later, that allows you to put everything and the accessories inside the pouch so that you can pretty much take this anywhere you go instead of bringing multiple cables. But one of the cool technical parts of this cable that I wanted to mention is the indicator lights on the front. So on the sections where they plug into the USB-C extensions, there's a little indicator light that changes to 3 different colors: green, blue, and amber, or they say yellow, but it's more of an amber color. Pretty much it tells you the charging status of the device that you plug into the cable. So let's say if your device doesn't have fast charging, it would be blue for standard charging, amber or yellow for fast charging, and then green for trickle charging. Trickle charging is really slow charging. Sometimes if your phone, for example, is already really close to 100%, the phone wouldn't allow to charge that fast, so it would go into trickle charging mode, which slowly increases the battery to 100%. So you would get that green indicator on the front pulsating to let you know that it's trickle charging. So without having to look at the phone or your power supply, if it's one of those smart power supplies with an indicator themselves, you can just look at the cable and know if it's charging or not, which is really cool about these cables. They have it on their other accessories as well, but it's nice to see that they brought it to this lineup of cables as well. Next, let's go right into the different accessories with this so we can see how you can use this cable set for different variations and different use cases. This is the coiled spring cable extension. So pretty much it's made out of the same material as the base cables. It has the locking nut on the USB-C end, and then on the other end you have the other USB-C, which plugs into the extension port of the smaller cables. So it's made out of the same material, so you have the jacket around the entire cable, and then you have the metal heads as well. So it's really premium, just like the starter cables. But what this thing is, you have a really long cable if you really spread it out, but then once it compacts together, then you have it in small form factor. So let's say you want to use this in your car, you could just put it in your glove box and it won't take up that much space compared to, rolling up a traditional cable. Or a lot of people just leave the cables hanging into the USB-C port and it's hanging all over their seats, between the seats. This makes sure that you don't have that issue. It is kind of standoutish because you do have this yellow jacket around it, but if that doesn't really bother you, I mean, there's no issues with using this in the car whatsoever. I really do like that they have a coiled version, so you have the ability pretty much to use this coiled cable and not have to worry about the length being everywhere when you don't need it. So besides this coiled cable, you have one more additional extension cable. So here you have another extension cable that's literally just made with the same material as the base and the spring cable, but then you have the ability to just extend the cable of your choice, whether it be the USB-C or the lightning cable, and you have a regular long cable that you can just fold around, just depending on the use case that you need it for. Let's say that you don't want to keep pulling on that spring cable and you really need a longer cable. Let's say you want to plug into the wall behind your bed. This is the way to go because this is always in this relaxed state, so you don't have a spring controlling the cable length. So this is a nice addition to the set, and it gives you the ability to attach it to any of the other two, so you have a longer lightning cable and then you also have a longer USB-C cable. So it's really cool that they include all of these extensions, and the best part about this is that you can connect these two together. All you need to do is pretty much plug in the USB-C section of the spring cable that has the ridges to the other side of the USB-C cable of the other extension. So once you plug it in, all you need to do is just plug it in and then roll the little locking nut on top. To make sure these don't disconnect, you just make it sure that it's tight and you have no problems when you tug on both sides of it disconnecting. So now not only do you have a long cable that's not in spring form, you have an additional one that's springed as well, and you have an even longer cable. And I haven't even attached the base cables at all. I mean, it kind of looks funky because you have different designs of the cable going through different lengths, but the thing is, it's about use, and you can have different form factors depending on the use case. So that's the best part about this cable set. And we will get right into the actual connection of the smaller cables. So pretty much what you need to do is you need to connect the other side of the spring cable, which has the locking nut, to one of the pieces that has the ridges. So let's say I want to continue to use the lightning cable. I plug it in here and then I turn on the locking nut. And now you have a really long cable that allows you to have a spring side to it. You have a regular cable and then you have the short one as well. Keep in mind that the only place that you will see the indicator for the device charging status is on the short cable's head towards the locking nut. But that's not really a problem because that's going to be the side that's closest to your device, and you can really closely take a look and you'll know the charging status. But then you also have the ability to have a really long cable or a not really long cable. Let's say if you plug this into a computer or somewhere and you needed to use the extension of the spring portion, then you can do that as well. The thing is, you'll just have one part that's not springs and the other one that is. So it just depends on how you want to use the cable. You just have the various different functions within the entire set. And let's say you want to use the USB-C portion, you just take the locking nut off, unplug it, and then you can directly plug in the other side with the ridges for the USB-C section, close the nut, and then you are good to go, and you should have no more issues with these connections. So this is pretty nice. You can change the different ways you want to use this cable. Let's say you always use the spring portion with the USB-C, then you can make the other non-spring cable with lightning. It just depends, and you can carry this all together in one place so that you have everything you need when you go and travel, because this is two cables that you mostly will need. A lot of devices use USB-C nowadays, and then other devices that don't have USB-C, like the older iPhones or AirPods, for example, you would still need that lightning cable that you can take with you alongside your trip. But do keep in mind, I mean, the cable set is $99. It's kind of hefty for a price. I mean, if you go out and buy a couple of different variations and length of cables for each cable, you'll probably end up with spending $99. But here you have everything that works together. It looks the same, and you don't have to carry different cables with you every single time. This little carrying case is also included. It shows Future on the front of their new lineup for cables, and it allows you to carry the accessories and the short cables with you at all times. I like that it's not made out of a hard plastic material. It's like really squishy and like it looks like a jelly bean pretty much, but it allows you to pretty much compress all the cables together. So even when you place it inside a bag, it doesn't take up that much room because it can be squished down and you won't really harm the cables whatsoever. So it's nice that they include this little pouch so you can put in all your cables and you won't have to worry about forgetting a piece of the extension cable if they're all included in this little pouch. So this kind of does justify the $99 price point. They did a really good job with the boxing of this entire product. It's a pretty cool looking gift box. I mean, I don't know who would store the cables after the fact when they take them out of the box, because no one's going to play around and put them in perfectly. Or maybe some people will do, I don't know. But overall, the gift box is a pretty cool idea. You get the little pouch, then you get the 2 short cables, the 2 extensions, and then you get an additional locking nut, because the locking nut does come off the cables depending if you want to remove it. But if you do, for example, lose one, it just flies around the room, you can't find it, then you have an additional 1 locking nut for your extension cables, and you don't have to worry about it not being able to connect. But other than that, I can tell you this product is of really good quality. I mean, I didn't expect anything less from AOHI. Their cables are really good. The accessories that I used, their power supplies are really good as well. I mean, I put these on par with Anchor products that I also use, and I really do enjoy all the products from AOHI, and I look forward to any of their future products. But if you like this video, then definitely give me a thumbs up. Let me know how I did. If you have any questions for this video, then leave them down in the comments below. And I'll leave you a link in the comment section as well as the video description to get these. If you want to try them out from Amazon, then go ahead and try out this cable set. Sometimes they have coupons for this product. Just make sure you check those on when you're purchasing them. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Zanev Tech is out.